And now I'm going to live stream. Yes, life in our household is an interesting one. Let's just say that. All right. Welcome in, everybody. So glad to see you all this morning. I can't believe it's July. Where, oh, where did this is the summer going? All right. Well, today we are going to be going through our July edition of the Essential Bliss monthly magazine. We're on month 2 of our monthly magazine. And I had such good feedback. I sent this out in a message last month in June. I didn't know, this was just something I came up with one day because I was like, I feel like people are missing classes. Like I feel like they're missing going to an event and getting something paper in their hands to take home or to print off or put in your binder. And so I was like, why don't I create this magazine and like for, like to make it applicable to what's going on in, the season or whatever. And then I was like, well, it'd be really fun. I think it was the Q&A last month, we didn't have any questions come in. And I'm like, what do you think if we just go through this magazine like as if we're sitting in a class? So let's picture ourselves all in somebody's living room, hanging out, and we're going to go through. This is your handout that you get to take home with you, and you get to print it out and put it in your binder. But today we're just going to go through it. And we're calling these Beyond the Pages because you're going to get some of the discussion that's in the magazine, but also we just want to talk about it. So just like I said, with like our good old fashioned classes, when we would bring up a topic, it might, we didn't read the handout word for word. We used it as a reference. So we're going to skim through parts of this, but we're going to create some conversation around it. So we want you to feel free to unmute yourself, add in, like literally pretend for those of you live over here on Zoom, pretend like we are sitting around in a living room having a discussion. So feel free to unmute and jump in anytime you want. All right. So happy birthday, America. Special birthday for America this year. So, okay. So inside this issue, we are going to be talking about why does pain hurt? We're going to be talking about deep blue oil, and I definitely want to open it up to everybody else's experience of deep blue oil. I've got a recipe that we're going to go over. I put in here a summer lab garden, and full disclosure, I don't have a garden this year. I couldn't juggle that into my life, but I do love gardening, and I know there's a lot of you out there that do have a garden, so you're gonna get that. And then we're doing around my table. So if we were sitting around the table, we've got some contributors: Kim's Corner, Ginny's Magic Moment, Drops of Hope, and Life with Bethany. We've got some simple summer living recipes for you. And I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on what's going on with Balance by Design and then our June schedule. So this first page of the magazine just kind of is just a little letter to you from me about summer. All right, so I want to jump right in here. And why does pain hurt? I think this is something that we need to, I think there's such a misconception because we think like when we step on a Lego, for example, that it hurts because like we're feeling the tissue, like what we feel, what we register as pain, we think is the tissue itself being damaged. And that is true. The tissue, what happens with the tissue is it creates a signal, and it sends a signal to the spinal cord, and then it sends it from your spinal cord to your brain, and your brain interprets it. And let me say that again. You have an injury, and your nerves are the ones that send the message to your brain, and your brain interprets it, and then your brain has a response, and that's when you feel it. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like how fast, like when you step on a Lego, how all of a sudden you feel it, like well, you think you feel it right away, but your brain has to interpret all of those messages before you actually feel it. And so pain has a purpose, and its purpose is to get your attention. If you've been following me lately, I talk a lot about signaling, and your body is always sending signals, and pain is one signal that your body will send. And so a lot of times pain's away. If you didn't feel pain, you would never move your hand away from a hot stove and it would burn the tissue and it would damage it. It's a signal like, hey, move away from the heat. Stop stepping on the Lego. Hold on a second. Steve keeps calling me. Hold on. Hello? Hey, I'm on my Zoom. Do you need something? You're what? All right. He never calls back-to-back calls. So I'm like, when he calls back-to-back, that's usually the signal like we need to answer. But he's calling to tell me the septic tank is getting pumped today. See why I needed to know that, right? Anyways, back to my message. Now my chair is stuck. Oh my goodness. Okay, so pain is a signal. And when you feel that signal, if you never felt pain, your body you would have a lot of downstream issues of not feeling pain. So I just kind of wanted to bring that front and center before we really start talking about deep blue, because deep blue works in like multiple different ways. But one of the ways that oils work for pain is because it helps disrupt that pain cascade. So with chronic pain and things like that, it can really help with that. But it also does support the tissue damage that's sending the nerve. If the tissue is damaged, it's sending a message to the nerve that's sending a message to the brain. So that's what I love about essential oils. We did a deep dive on that last year. Valerie and I went really deep into deep blue, and I've got a QR code. All of those videos are open right now for you to watch. They'll be open the whole month of July, so you can scan that QR code. I do know, don't scan it right now because I know some of them are still marked private, but by the time when I get off the Zoom, I'll go in and open all those up. But we really go in deep on the pain signal. So if that piece of it is interesting to you, like tell me more. But then we also got videos in there on fibromyalgia. We've got videos on headaches, menstrual pains. Um, uh, what else do we have in there, Valerie? Um,
I'm drawing a blank too. Did we have one about like fitness or something?
yeah,
I don't.
athletes.
Yep,
Yep,
athletes. There
yep.
you go. Yep.
Yep. So we kind of pieced it out because everybody, like not everybody has the same kind of pain. We have joint and muscle pain, we
Yep.
have neurological pain, we have
Yep.
headaches. So you don't, if you're like, well, I suffer from headaches, but I don't have joint pain, then you can watch the headache one. If you're like, I have joint pain, but don't have headaches, it was such a massive, I mean, we went really, really, really deep on it. So those are all available. They're a little bit dated because it's about last month. I mean, they were a year ago, so Deep Blue was free a year ago as well, but they also had the Deep Blue stick that was on sale last year. Now doTERRA doesn't do the 10% off anymore. So that piece of it's a little bit, I don't know how much of that. But anyways, anybody want to add anything? I kind of went through my favorite reasons I love Deep Blue, and I'm not going to go through all 10 of these right now, except the one I do want to point out, because I know that this is probably the most unlogical thing that people think of, or it's not unlogical, but you don't think of it. Deep Blue oil works the best for mosquito bites. So, if you get mosquito bites, there isn't anything out there that takes the itch away like Deep Blue straight out of the bottle. Tip it over, put it on your finger, put on a mosquito bite, and it works amazing. But I've got my favorite uses in here. Does anybody want to share their favorite reasons why they love Deep Blue oil? While I readjust my chair and try not to fall.
I think personally, I love these kinds of things because it makes me, I use the blue oil in like Symphony of the Cells when it asks for it, or different things like that, or the aromatouch. But it's like I typically grab the stick or rub, and I know it's not either or, it's all of them. And but I don't know why, like it is not one that I like reach for a lot, but I do know like the when I do, the relief that I receive is like up level or whatever. It's like when you get that deep blue straight out of the bottle. And that's great about mosquito bites. I would have never, you know, wouldn't have thought of that. I usually reach for Purify, so that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
And another way that like I think that we don't think to use it is like road trips. Like give yourself a little bit of a massage with it on your back of your neck. It feels so good. You all have this bottle sitting in your house right now, and if you place a 125 PV order by the 15th of the month, you're gonna get another bottle. A little bit goes a long ways, but on those long road trips, rub it on your lower back. You've had a long day. We went to the zoo a little while, last a couple weeks ago when Janae was back. Nothing feels better than coming home, taking your shoes off, putting a couple drops of deep blue on your hands and rubbing your feet. Like treat yourself to that as a little bit of just like self-love you can give.
I
I wonder,
have to, uh, um, you
go ahead.
listening to me? Oh,
Yeah, go
um,
ahead.
I have to get my knee replaced next month, and I use the oil on and the rub and the cream all together, and I'm it helps my pain, and I wouldn't be without it.
That's amazing. It is
Yep.
such a miracle oil.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, I wonder, because Burton, it's not really restless legs, but maybe kind of like if he sits in the car for too long, like when we're driving, he just gets to where it's like, I wonder if putting some of that on before and during would be helpful for him, like as far as even like circulation or whatever's going on there, when he sits too long like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's such a great oil. Bruises, I mean, I've shared this before, but I've personally witnessed this bruise went from a like hot, burning, fiery red, deep tissue bruise to pale pink overnight. Like literally. Like there was a lot. We used a lot of deep blue, but it was a rodeo injury and they needed to be able to compete the next day, and they were told by sports medicine you're going to be out for several months. And I don't want to over like I mean I don't want to overinflate, but it's true. Like in that particular case, it was a brand new bruise. We got on it right away, just literally putting oils on every hour throughout the night. And I think that that's one of the things that happens a lot of times. Somebody will hear that story and put a couple drops of oil on a bruise and be like, well, it didn't do anything. We literally were doing it like around the clock. And it's amazing what it does for that tissue repair. And kind of like I talk about with, when I talk let in with that pain is a signal. It's not the actual tissue that you're feeling. The damaged tissue, you don't feel the damaged tissue. You're feeling the what your brain is interpreting as the message from that damaged tissue. The message that the nerve is sending to your brain, hey, pay attention, there's something going on here. So if we can calm that tissue down, that message is going to quit going out so loudly. So
And a shout out for traveling with your oils. Like I still go back to when you said about putting these monthly ones in a little, I just use the like rewards bag that we got for like whatever being a VIP or whatever for being on rewards. And then also the little like wellness kits that we used to have, like the little pouches that those came in or whatever. I have roller bottles in one and 5 mLs in another. And I just think about that story of like, if you wouldn't have had your oils with you, that injury would have been debilitating.
yeah,
And like, a big impact on the career. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like a, oh, we're just here for fun. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
a career move, and to be able to compete is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, they've got a bunch of other reasons. I love Deep Blue. If anybody else wants to add anything in there, chime in. Otherwise, we'll move along. So scan that QR code if you really want to go deep into Deep Blue. All right. I love cooking with oils, and this is one of my favorite recipes is using black pepper in it. Black pepper oil, when you cook with black pepper oil, it's not hot. Like it's not like you're gonna like if you put a whole bunch of cracked black pepper on something, you take like it's like, ooh, that's got some heat. Black pepper oil, it's not hot, it just adds a depth of flavor. So do you guys love cooking with black pepper? Is it something you guys use?
Not very often. I should, but I forget about it.
Yeah.
I've put it on my little oyster crackers that I make with lemon and for lemon pepper. I've done that, but I've never put it in like meat like this. So
Yeah.
I do
Uh,
not like pepper. I don't cook with it. I don't season with it. I do not like pepper, but I will use the black pepper oil all day, every day. I love it. It's good.
That's awesome. Do you feel like it, like, okay, first coming from somebody who doesn't love black pepper, how would you describe black pepper oil versus black pepper?
It's just, I don't know, it's just more of like a real flavor. It's just good.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other stuff, like you said, it's hot, and I just don't like the taste of black pepper, but I love the black pepper oil. It's very good.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think that the black pepper, and I feel like you can't, I mean, you got to be careful not to go completely overboard because you don't want it won't make your food hot, but it could overpower the other flavors in the foods. This recipe is for a pound of ground beef and it's 5 drops of black pepper in a pound of ground beef. If you're like brand new to this, start out with 2 to 3 your first time that you make it, and make sure that you enjoy that flavor layer in there. I just feel like using essential oils, things like oregano and basil and some of those herbs, like you can barely put a drop in and it overpowers the whole food. I haven't had that experience with black pepper personally. It feels like it just kind of adds that layer in there, but I also don't want you, if you're brand new to it, don't go in and dump 5 drops in if you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like try 1 or 2 drops and see how you do and build up from there. But this is from me, who actually really, really, I'm like Karen, love black pepper in my oil. I mean, sorry, in my food. And so there's your recipe for the week, the month. If I want to add anything to that. And if you're nervous to mix it with your burger, you could make it just in your sauce to begin with, this creamy pepper sauce. You could leave the cracked black pepper out completely if you didn't want that in there. But that's your recipe.
question on your and maybe this is just a thought, but with the potato wedges, like could you mix some of the black pepper? Maybe that's on there. I guess I didn't see that, but could you mix some of that in with like the olive oil or something that you're using just to kind of spice them up a little bit too?
Yeah, I think you totally could. I mean, the sky is the limit on, how you want to flavor things up. And yeah, I think there's a lot of different things you could do with those potatoes. So yeah. And if you don't have black pepper, you can actually use pink pepper too. Like it works. So either one, or both. Does your oyster recipe have both black and pink pepper in it?
No, I mean, you could do that. I used to use black pepper and I think I was out of black pepper and I love the smell of pink pepper. So I was just went and got it. And then I was like, oh yeah, like, so yeah, I like them both, but I kind of prefer pink pepper. But yeah, so you could do it either way.
You could do a couple drops, like 1 or 2 drops of each if you really wanted to live on the edge. All right. All right, this next section is all about gardening. So I'm not, again, going to go through each and every recipe on here, just to hit some highlights. General rule of thumb when you're using your garden, whatever recipe you're mixing, a general rule of thumb, if you're like, I don't really know where to start, 1 drop of essential oil for every ounce in a spray bottle is a good rule of thumb for your plants. So we've got a garden cleaning tool, we've got an insect deterrent. If you're into understanding plant companionship, here's some great oils that companion really, really well with different plants. And then the one that the one recipe that I love is where did it go? Uh-oh, I'm missing a sheet in there. I have one more thing to add, so hold off on printing this because I got one more addition to add to my garden place. But I love the oh, here, this is the recipe. This insect deterrent. I have had so much experience like with bugs getting in, like when I said I don't have a garden this year, but I have plenty in the past. And when those little bugs get to start munching in there, it can be detrimental. I love this. It's really helped like with blight and other things. Like when you just go in and just spray your plants like once or twice a week. Your plants will absolutely thrive with this. It's called insect deterrent, but it's actually really a plant support spray. So, does anybody want to add anything to gardening with oils?
Is there a good replacement for thyme oil? I don't have thyme.
Yeah,
Do
you could
that.
probably just do oregano.
Okay.
The one thing I will tell you on this recipe, and I'm glad you asked that question, is that if you spray, like try not to, like if you got like a tomato plant, try not to spray the blooms themselves or the tomatoes themselves as they set on, because they will take on the flavor of the oils that you're spraying it. So, if you don't want oregano infused tomatoes or thyme infused tomatoes, or just really try to keep it on the leaves. If you get a little bit, it's okay, but if you're constantly dousing your whole plant, you just want to be aware that those flavors will pick up in your produce.
I don't
Oh,
know that this is like 1-to-1, but I looked up in like the substitutions for thyme, and it says oregano, copaiba, and clove. I thought that was, but I'm sure, I mean, like I said, I know thyme has its properties and its thing it's doing for the plant, but
yeah.
just thought I'd throw that out.
Great. Thank you. All right. So one thing I wanted to add this month to our magazine is I'm calling it around my table. Like if we were sitting around the table talking, um, what would we be talking about, kind of a thing. And something that comes up a lot for my mom is a conversation is that she loves to use On Guard Cleaner Concentrate in her carpet shampooer. Mom, are you still on? Oh, there you are. Do you have anything you want to talk about with this or your experience with it? No?
My phone's ringing. Sorry.
Okay. It's the day of phone calls.
Um,
Um,
I will add, I actually do the, I mean, I am not saying that I have the same experience as your mom, but I actually do this with my carpet cleaner too, and my mop, and like my steam mop or whatever, because I'm like, they come with those cleaners. One, I just literally cannot stand the smell of things like that
Yes.
anymore. Like, oh, sorry, Kim's back.
Yeah, no, you go ahead. I want
Oh,
to hear what you
but
said.
I mean, that is what I mean, that's what I use too, because I'm just like, I know what, I'm going to use it everywhere else in my house. And I know I was questioning a little bit like what would happen if I, like, would it affect the machine or whatever? And I will tell you, if I put straight On Guard in things like this, the oil, then that's different because I have like rough spot in my washing machine, like where you put the detergent, because I put On Guard. I mean, it's just does its thing,
Interesting.
right? But the concentrate, I never have any problems with my machine not working or clogging or anything. And I love that I know like what I don't know. I love that I know what I'm putting on my carpet and that it's, doing such good work there. So anyways, I was just going to add my 2 cents.
Awesome. Anything to tag into there,
And
Mom?
I just have to add, just I've tried different ones, and there is nothing, especially like if you do have a spot, go ahead and spray it on a little more concentrated, and stuff. And then I don't know, it's just there's you and we've had some experiences with it, and we've made some of your carpets that before you moved out, we had them just all shining, and they were lived on with your little kids and stuff. We took care of a few spots, so.
Yes, amazingly. Yeah, before I left Chambers, Mom came and did a deep clean. And I'm just gonna give Mom some credibility that she can speak highly of cleaning because she is the most anal cleaner. She is an amazing cleaner. Like if I was giving a testimony on this, it just wouldn't have the same weight. But when my mom stands behind something with cleaning, just let me tell you, it works. Or she wouldn't. I mean, there's a few things that she will stand behind 100%, and this is one of them. And so yeah, we've had
Mhm.
Whitney in her younger days like would make well, Whitney's always been Whitney and loves to create, and we had makeups like embedded into the carpet fabrics in some of the places. And I mean when I moved out there was like no I mean okay, so I just put a rug over it. But when you move out of a house, you can't just put a rug over it, you know? And so I was absolutely shocked at the power of the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate. So, like on those tougher spots, Mom would just go and she just took the cleaner straight out of the undiluted and just like kind of put some of that in those really tough spots and took a cloth, right? You just took
Mhm.
was like a Norwex cloth or just a microfiber cloth and just scrub, scrub, scrub,
No,
scrub with some water.
just nothing special, but just let it soak a little while, let it set on it a little bit, and I would scrub it a little bit and then go over it, and it just blends in.
Yeah.
I've had many coffee spills over by my couch there, and I'll get to it's time to do the rug, and I'll move it, and I'll be like, oh, I missed those, like a splatter that when the coffee fell. I mean, just gone. I mean, they sat on there for how long, and it was just gone. And it's a cream colored carpet or rug. So,
Yeah.
and your carpets were quite light too. There was no
Yeah.
camouflage, and they were old, and they were that I don't even know what color you'd call them. Kind of a
Great.
I don't call them gray, kind of reddish something. I don't know what they were, but very light colored.
Yeah.
No variation to them at all. They were the old one solid color, and that's what makes
Yeah.
it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to tag on to Valerie, like why the Unger Cleaner concentrate can be used in like machines and stuff is because it's got a protectant in the way that they develop it with the soap. Is that it's because you'll notice you buy it and it's in a plastic bottle and it's completely fine. That
Yeah.
plastic, it doesn't break the
Yeah.
plastic down. It is formulated to be able to handle plastic. So that's why when we mix it with a spray bottle, we don't worry about when we're using On Guard Cleaner concentrate. I don't put it in a glass bottle for a cleaner when I'm using On Guard Cleaner concentrate. Just goes in a cheapy plastic spray bottle and spray away.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
awesome. Well, thank you for that, Mom. We'll look forward to
Mhm.
what you contribute next month. Jenny, I'm going to put you on the spot. Jenny has got an awesome remedy for a gum rinse.
Okay. Well, I mean, I always have known that back when I was a dental assistant, that clove, is very good for your teeth because a lot of times the dentist would use like a clove oil if someone had a sensitive gum or something. And then if it didn't go away after a while, then he would have to put in use like some kind of a resin or something on it. But I had this area where I think I had a popcorn hull or something caught up under my gum. And my gum was so inflamed. And every time I would floss, I mean, I just couldn't even hardly handle it. It hurt so bad. So I was just putting some clove on my dental floss, and that was helping. But it hurt. It still hurt. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try this rinse because I had seen where Dr. Scott Johnson had said lime oil is very good for the gums. And I knew copaiba was, and I knew clove was. So I just started doing this rinse, and it only took 2 days, and it was like my gums better. Well, I like it so much, I just started doing it like once a day because it my gums are getting back to their nice. Well, you don't want your gums to be, you want your gums to be kind of a pale pink and not a bright red or a bright color. And so just after a couple days though, my gums were back to that paler pink color. Um, in that area. I mean, all over they were still looking good, but that area was just so bad. But yeah, so it works really great. You could just drop some of that on your toothbrush. You don't even really have to make a rinse if you want to drop it on with your toothpaste. It's just easier with a rinse. So, but anything gum related or mouth, canker sores, um, you know, anything. If somebody, has a tooth out, and I wouldn't suggest to swish with it, but I would put some on my finger and just rub it around the gum area around where the tooth is removed. Um, just anything in the mouth. These are the best oils, in my opinion, for mouth issues.
Awesome. I love this. This was fun when you submitted this to me. So I was excited to hear you talk about it. Jenny is our consistency queen. Jenny is like she'll just like I love about Jenny is when there's a problem, Jenny just goes to her oils and figures it out. Like, and then we're blessed because she shares it with us. So anybody that's got gum issues, like this is amazing for like what a great little tidbit to know. So we call this Jenny's Magic Minute because she has pure magic when she shares what works for her and Bill. They've had some of the most powerful testimonies in our doTERRA community. So thank you for sharing that, Jenny.
Yeah, there is always an oil for something or for everything.
Yes, there is.
Use it. You have to be consistent.
Yes. I don't think Bethany's on. Has anybody seen Bethany? All right. Well, we were blessed to get this recipe from Bethany. Bethany is one of the most creative and resourceful people that I know. I love like she can see possibilities where other people can't, and whether it's in her kitchen, it's creating something or restoring an old building, or if you know Bethany, she's a problem solver. But she's also super creative in a lot of things. So she submitted a recipe limeade refresh. So just take the strawberry recharge. A lot of people with the heat right now, you need to be drinking your recharge. It's super, super important. A drop of lime oil and 10 ounces of water and some ice. And I know mom, as soon as she saw this, because we have kind of just a thread between us, and she jumped on there and said it was amazing. So do you want to talk to me? Just
I was enjoying some outside time, just sitting in my chair, and I saw that come through, and I'm like, I was needing something right then anyway. It was so refreshing to try that. I just loved it. So sometimes I kind of will put off drinking, the that anyway. But anyway, so yeah, it was really, really good. That's all I can say. That drop of lime just totally made it fun.
I love it. Did anybody else add anything to their recharge or any other tips? Sometimes you just want to change the flavor palettes. We only have two flavors. We got the lemon lime and the wild orange or wild strawberry. And I was sending Steve out the door this morning. He's been sweating crazy. They've been spraying, and he sits in a unair conditioned semi most of the day. And I said, you've got to take your recharge with you today. And he's like, don't we have any of the lemon lime? Like he just likes that combination to change things up. He likes the strawberry too, but I'm like, no, because the girls, everybody just started drinking strawberry. So I quit buying the lemon lime. And now I guess I need to go back to buying more lemon lime. But I thought this will be a great thing just to give him that variety as well. Sometimes you just want a little splash of something. I think tangerine would be really good in there too. I love tangerine. I think a drop of lime, a drop of tangerine, and that would be so amazing. So that's on my bucket list to try today.
I just put the VMG and the Advantage and the fiber and the
Recharge.
to recharge all together and mix it up and drink it.
Love it. Love it. That's a
I
great way to make sure you're getting it all in.
I do add lemon. I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was Boyd Truman or somebody saying that lemon does help with dehydration, which I didn't realize that. So I'll add a couple of drops of lemon too.
Oh,
Awesome. Just another great way. I mean, adding those oils in, obviously there's oils inside it already, but you're just kind of supercharging it and giving it that fresh, just a little spin, just a little different flavor palette. All right, Valerie, you're up. Drops of hope. Valerie is our hope girl. I mean, her story is powerful, so powerful. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you, Valerie. I think the one thing about Valerie that I love a lot of things about Valerie, but something I love about Valerie is she comes from the counselor background, but then she's went on to become a certified life coach by trade. So, I mean, by choice. And so when you work with Valerie on things, you get the actual, like what she learned in school, the counseling piece of it, but then you're also getting that life coach benefit as well. And so she's got a really, really unique way of helping people and coaching them. I know she's helped me through some of my most difficult seasons of my life. And so she is a true blessing to have in your corner. So Valerie, take it over.
Gosh, I feel like I'm receiving some kind of an award or something. Thank you for all of that. Well, I have told my infertility story many, many times, and I think sometimes I and Haley and I've had this conversation many a times. I think, well, everyone's heard it, but I know not everyone has heard it. And I also know that our seasons change, and I just wanted to kind of put my story out there to give drops of hope. I mean, that's what I have it online, and it's Drops of Hope, my journey through infertility and miscarriage and things like that. But so my story is long though. So I just kind of started it here, and we'll, kind of continue it on just to give more of the story. But I'm always an open book. If you read this and you're like, myself or someone I know needs to know more about this, please reach out to me or anybody. They know how to get a hold of me, whatever. But because that was one of the things that I determined that I wasn't going to let my loss and experience go unused. I mean, God is writing my story, and I know that it's, I have a testimony to share. And so anyway, that's what Drops of Hope is, the beginning of my infertility story. And we'll continue on into the future issues of this beyond the pages. So
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I just love that you're so open to share your story because it has helped so many. We have so many doTERRA babies out there that because Valerie was brave enough to share this very vulnerable season of her life with all of us. So, if you are struggling, I mean, Valerie is a wealth of knowledge and she's walked this journey. So, definitely reach out to her. She also submitted
can I
this.
add something else there is
Yeah.
like, we don't really have about, sharing doTERRA in this magazine maybe, but I just want to also put out there that, and I've said this to many of people is, if somebody is reaching out to you, it's because they care about you. And like, that's what Haley did I mean, I always say I'm so grateful to Haley for even introducing doTERRA to me. But like, she knew I had experienced a miscarriage after, like, having the fibroid removal and all that. But she still took a chance. And I mean, my story is fairly dramatic, and like, but it doesn't matter if it's, shingles or whatever. Like, when you share doTERRA with people, it changes their life. I mean, all of us that are on here on this video can tell you that. But I mean, it affected my life in a big way. Like, I was already using doTERRA, but it, like, this took my story to a whole new level. But also, like, thank you to Haley for taking the chance. I mean, she could have gotten rejected big time when she shared the fertility protocol that she had found. And she just literally was like, I don't know about this. I don't know if it works. I don't know. And so I always kind of say results not typical. but we have enough evidence of babies on our oil team that, I know that it wasn't a fluke. There's God's design in nature and in these essential oils and things like that. And I don't want to waste the opportunity or miss the opportunity to share that with someone. So thank you, Haley, for sharing doTERRA with me, but also for taking a chance in a pretty, tough time of my life to say, I don't know if this is going to work, but I want you to have the information in case you're interested. So share doTERRA with the people around you, because I was on my knees praying for a solution, and I got a miracle.
I
Double
love that.
miracle.
And as the person who shared it, it is awkward. Like, and I know
Yeah.
mom has shared this protocol with people too before, because you don't know, are you overstepping? The
Yeah.
people, like, it's like you don't know, but if it's somebody that's in your circle and and just say, hey, I don't know if you're open to this, but I can tell you a story and I can point you in a direction if you want to hear more, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Don't just force it down them and be like, here's a protocol for you to try. Now you need to try this, you need to try this. You lay it out there and you say, I don't know if you're open to this, but I've got somebody that, has a really powerful, this has really helped. And if you
Yeah.
don't know how to share it, reach out to us and we can help you with that part
Yeah.
of it as well.
And I have my story online in so many different places. So sharing it is pretty easy to do. So thank you
Awesome.
for giving us the spot in this magazine to share our own experiences and kind of specialties. So thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I love, love, love. Last month, like I said, it was kind of on a whim. I should say it was a whim. It was like I'm gonna try this and I didn't know how it was gonna be received. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go to a bunch of people and be like, hey, why don't you contribute to this? And if you're listening to this and you want to be a contributor, like I would love to have you. Like this is not a mutual, like an exclusive, like, oh, you have to be so and so or you have to be a certain
Yeah.
rank. Like if you have a story to share, if you want to put your stuff, you got a recipe, like get it to me and just reach out to me sooner than later so that I know to reach out to you when I'm actually putting it together. But just know we're going to keep this up for a while. And to me, this is the part of in-person classes that I miss is this like just the conversation, I don't mean to say randomness, but the different topics that we get to cover. And like this was what we used to do. So my goal is really to really recreate an in-person class, but the convenience of doing it in your own home. We have this community, we can connect, can talk, we can share. So tell us about your deep blue spray, Valerie.
Well, and I do see that I left out like the deep blue rub should be like pea-sized dollops, like just very little, not like a boom. But this comes from my friend Ray, and we were doing oil boot camp, and she shared this with me, and I thought this was a great recipe because she shared it because like it's for if you can't reach, like if you can't reach the back of your shoulder or your lower back or whatever, and you can just spray this. But it's a like a 3 ounce spray bottle, and you just literally like a pea size three pea size amounts of deep blue rub in the bottle and kind of tap it down, and then you put in a half a tablespoon of rubbing alcohol, and I suppose you could do witch hazel or something else. It's just basically to kind of thin it out and keep it kind of sprayable, if you will, and then you top it off the rest of the bottle with water, and then just shake it and spray it where. And I was like, I would have never thought to put deep blue rub in a spray. And I'm not saying you can't use like deep blue oil, but I just think this is her recipe, and the QR code. She does such a great job explaining it. So the QR code is actually her video of her making it. So if you want to see her explain it, you just take your camera and scan that QR code and you can watch her.
Awesome. Like this was such a unique recipe. Like I just thought I'm really grateful that you brought this forward to share with
Yeah.
everybody. And I watched her video and she does a great job of explaining it.
Yep.
And what a really practical way to use deep blue rub. So you could, and I mean, you could take this however you wanted. You could add deep blue oil to it. You could add some copaiba to it. The sky is the limit on what you could do with this. You could add more wintergreen if you want it more potent. So have some
Yeah.
fun, like be brave, be like Ray and try something new and be like, I'm gonna figure this out. So all right. This next page is just some simple summer living tips and recipes. And the first one is Valerie's Sandal Ready Heels. I don't know why that was a tongue twister, but you want to talk to us about this? Because this is a really unique
Yeah.
recipe too.
Well, and I always get like cracked heels, and I like to run around without shoes on in the house and outside and whatever. And so then, they don't look attractive and they hurt. So I actually made this in like back in the day they had the little tiny body butter. Because I made this recipe for a friend of mine just because it was like we were meeting and whatever, and she messaged me back and she's like, that is amazing. And so tea tree geranium, you can use peppermint or supermint. It just kind of is whatever you want to add in there. Copaiba and turmeric, but I've put it in the body butter. I've made it in a roller bottle. And I've also done it just like in my hands. I do like put some socks on just to kind of let that soak in, or like if you did it while you slept or something. And now that we have castor oil, this time when I made it, I did add castor oil in there because I thought castor oil would be so good for what's going on there on your heels. And I know there's a deeper issue when you have these issues with your heels, but I do think sometimes when you're running around in sandals and dirt and stuff is drying your skin out and stuff. But yeah, the body butter is probably kind of my favorite just because it feels so like luxurious and just dreamy on your feet. And then you put your socks on and just let it soak in. But yeah, that's my sandal ready heels.
I love it. The ingredient that like threw me off of like turmeric. I would have never thought to put turmeric in there. So what a fun recipe. All right. And then we have like this is an oldie but a goodie, the cooling eucalyptus towels. And we have not talked about this in a really long time. And as hot as it is, I thought this is a great time to bring this back out. So you just take some water and you get some clean cloths and 10 drops of eucalyptus. And you mix the water and the eucalyptus together and you put those rags in there and you soak them and then you freeze them and you wring the water out tightly and then you freeze them and then you pull them out and like they are super cooling, like so refreshing. Like the things that we're sharing with you right now are some of those things that we are so spoiled to be able to make these like spa-like type products. You would have to pay so much money for if you wanted to go buy some of this kind of cool stuff. So, anyways, that's the cooling eucalyptus towels. The summer itch stick, I know I said that I love deep blue oil directly on my mosquito bites, but this is another option. It's purified peppermint, lavender, and copaiba. So if you've got something that it just isn't going away, maybe irritated skin, this is a good one for, like irritated by like maybe you get into a weed or something that's triggering to your skin. This is a good one for that. Anybody want to add anything on those? All right. And then I've got some summer diffuser blend recipes in there for you. So, all right. I want to take a couple minutes and talk to you a minute about nobody ever taught you the rules. If you have ever imagine yourself playing the game Monopoly and you've never played it before. And you come to my house and we sit down, we have the Monopoly board out, and I say, just start playing. And you like, I don't know how to play. And you roll the dice and you start like looking at like around, you're watching what everybody else is doing, but you don't have a clue how to play the game. You buy a house, you buy a property, you keep doing these things, but you get really frustrated because you're not making progress in the game because you don't know what to do. Would I ever lean across the table and tell you you just need more willpower? You just need more discipline. Because if you had more discipline, you would know how to play Monopoly. You wouldn't do that, right? However, when it comes to weight and women, that's what we do. We think that we have all these rules that we have to follow and, eat less, work out more, no carb, my friend, we all become experts at copying everybody else's moves, like watching somebody play a board game, you don't know the rules. And you may have a friend that says, I lost all this weight doing keto. And another friend says this supplement changed my life. And then somebody else says, oh, intermittent fasting. That's what worked for me. Oh, this oil really worked. And so we copy it, we try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then sometimes it stops. And then we blame ourselves. We think we just need more discipline. I just need more willpower. Maybe, what if nobody ever taught you the rules? Because that's what I'm here to tell you. Nobody has ever probably taught you the rules of what happens after age 35 in the female body and why it is so dang hard to lose weight. And so I created Balance by Design. If you hear me talking, we've dropped we talk about it like in passing, and I know some people don't really know what we're talking about. Balance by Design is a coaching program that I created for the purpose to teach you the rules. Because once you understand the rules, you stop guessing, you stop chasing every new trend, and you stop starting over on Monday, and you can actually make some incredible progress. So I've got some testimonies that in here, and they're just amazing. Danielle said, before Balance by Design, I just kept gaining more weight. I was spending lots of money on different programs with no results. Today, she says, I'm down 15 pounds, sleeping better, feeling better, and more energy. And not telling you, I'm telling you that these testimonies, it's not a certain oil, it's not a supplement. I literally teach the rules of physiology in a way for the human body for it to make sense. Many of the women who joined Balance by Design, I opened it up in January and then it's not been open since. And my gals have been begging because they have friends that want to be in the program. And I'm like, I'm just not ready to relaunch it yet. Um, but before they joined back in January, a lot of them felt like they were like kind of like nothing was working. Like they tried everything and nothing worked. They tried keto, they tried carnivore, they tried fasting, they tried different supplements and nothing was working. Valerie's quote after being in the program, she says, I quit believing that I was a failure with food because we talk about like no shame. You understand food, you understand the role that it plays. Amy said, I was always like, there was always like a faster miracle way is what she used to think. Now she understands that her body just needs time to heal. Janice said she was ready to start taking medication, and she wanted to give this one chance. And before she jumped into taking a medication, and in the last 6 months, she is now down 10 pounds and her A1C is down as well. Kathy says her brain fog is gone. Tammy says, I needed something I could actually stick with. And Jenny said, my belief before Balance by Design was no program would help me, and that I was tired of throwing my money away. The rest of her quote got cut off, but she now says that she is the weight that she always wanted to be. So I'm introducing you to Balance by Design. It's not another diet. It's not a meal plan. It's not another list of foods you can never eat again. Balance by Design is understanding the metabolic game of life because when women understand the rules, something incredible starts happening. You start sleeping better, you're having more energy, you're feeling hopeful again, you're making more confident food choices, you stop starting over every Monday, and your body loses weight by almost a side effect of getting things, understanding that physiology. So when you understand the rules and you learn a strategy, to play those rules, that's what I teach you inside Balance by Design. It's not extremely restrictive. We don't eliminate entire food groups. You don't have to read every label as good or bad. You can enjoy any food that you want without guilt, shame, and feeling like you failed. So you never have, like, for me, in a world of giving up brownies for life, like I could never have a diet or a plan. I teach you how you can have the brownie with some strategy and some awareness around that brownie. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. And instead of working with your body, you actually, instead of fighting your body, you start working with it. So when you understand the rules, you apply the strategy and you're consistent with it, big things start happening in your body. So nobody has ever taught you the rules, especially what happens after 35. So mark your calendars for July 15th. I'm offering a free live Zoom where we're going to start talking about some of these rules and like why all diets work when you do the diet. You can do keto, you can do carnivore, you can do macro counting, you can do calorie deficit, you can do Weight Watchers, you can do Activia. I've done them all, you guys, and they all work until you stop doing the diet. What I teach you inside Balance by Design is not another meal plan. It's a how do we never diet again? And once you learn the rules. So I'm going to scan this code. And it will prompt you to get on the wait list. And that's when if you're on the wait list, then you'll get the information as far as when and where and more information on that. So In addition to that is July 15th. I don't have the time set yet, so stay tuned for that. I wanted to wrap up and talk about our online events that we have here in Essential Bliss. Today is our Beyond the Pages live Zoom. This is where your magazine comes to life. So if you join us, you get into the deeper dive, you get into hear us talk about things that are not on the pages. Our Q&As we've just not been getting near as many questions come in. So we're going to try something different in the month of July. We're going to keep the Q&A on July 9th. And then we're going to on July 16th these are all 10 o'clock, your 10 o'clock Thursday Zooms. But we're going to do a hot topic. So we're going to talk deeper conversation on wellness topic. Just kind of, it's going to be different than a Q&A. So if you submit a question that week, we won't answer it till the following week. So we're keeping 2 Q&As a month, and July has 5 Fridays in it or 5 Thursdays in it. And so we're going to go ahead and do the August edition of Beyond the Pages that last Thursday of July. So you're set up for August. So that's what I have. I got your QR codes here as well. So if you want to, have a handy way to join the Zooms, you can scan that QR code, or over here if you want to submit a question for our Q&A. We love it when you guys submit questions. There's that. So anything anybody wants to add?
Thank you for all the effort you put into the magazine. I mean, I am a people person, so I do miss in-person classes, and I love these Zooms. So I remember when COVID happened, I literally had a Zoom 6 days a week for like, I don't even too long, like because I needed people. Like I am a people person, and I think the important. I mean, God bless whoever showed up to 6 days a week. That's crazy. Anyway, so I miss classes. I love it when we all gather, and I love seeing your faces on here. So thank you all for showing up, and thank you, Haley, for creating the the magazine, and also for uh, allowing us to contribute and be a part of it.
You're so welcome.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.